Hello and welcome to the premiere episode of Talk It Off, the podcast with an identity crisis. Here we talk about a little bit of everything. We're going to talk about science, technology, education, politics, history, art and music, and we will even explore the supernatural and unexplained. I am your host, Preston, here to melt you like already warm ear butter. Well, that does not sound as good out loud as it did in my head, that's for sure. But anyways, today we talk about exploding whales, deja vu, AI, and deep sea smog. And we catch up with my friend, Huey Lewis. Not really though, but since we're on the topic, let's do it. It's time for Huey Lewis with the news. This is where our news correspondent, 1980s megastar Huey Lewis, fills us in on current weather conditions. Huey, how is the weather there in San Francisco? Is it still raining?
No, it hasn't been that bad. It was beautiful weather up north anyways.
That's good news, brother. Well, good luck to you over there, and let's hope this weather stays that way for you.
We hope so.
Huey Lewis with the news, everybody. Love that guy. Okay, let's hit some headlines. Deep sea smog. Are you on the fence about man-made pollution having an effect on the ecosystem? Well, listen to this. According to the Nature Ecology and Evolution Journal, researchers have found traces of PCBs and PBDEs in amphipods living 4.5 to 6.5 miles underwater on the ocean floor. These chemicals have been around since the early 1900s and can be found in high levels inside of things like vintage electronics. While most countries have banned the use of these chemicals in an industrial setting, the United States banning them in 1979, still the levels found in the amphipods were very high, higher than those tested at known contamination sites. This exposure isn't harmless either. Humans exposed to PCBs can suffer from liver and skin damage. In children, exposure can cause a host of sexual, skeletal, and neurological development issues. In birds, PCB exposure actually changes their brain to alter their songs. In shallow water amphipods, PCB exposure is known to harm reproduction. So even on the deep sea ocean floor, you have man-made chemicals having an impact on their ecosystem. President Donald Trump's National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn, has resigned. Was important information about sanctions leaked to Russia before it was even implemented and publicly agreed to? A pending investigation we all look forward to hearing about. North Korea's surprise missile test. After about 4 months of silence beginning just around the start of the election and transition between the Obama and Trump administrations in America, North Korea sends the world a thinking about you card with their latest show of missile capabilities. Intelligence agencies have released statements citing this is an intermediate missile launch with marked improvements. Switching to solid fuel propellant means they are now capable of spontaneous launches that require much less preparation and even mobile launches, all making an attack more difficult to detect and defend against. It is also believed that North Korea's missile technology will be capable of delivering a nuclear warhead to mainland U.S. within a few months' time. While this does not mean an attack is imminent, it certainly does affect our policy towards North Korea and give them a much louder voice in global politics. Well, there you go. That concludes headlines and Huey Lewis with the news. We now move on to a segment I call Kickstart My Smart. This is where we showcase science and technology news items. Today we have artificial intelligence. And this Valentine's Day, Elon Musk wants you to know that machines will take over the world and make you obsolete. Now, as crazy as this sounds, Elon is not alone in his fear of artificial intelligence. Bill Gates and many other tech industry elites offer similar views and heed warning. At the 2017 World Government Summit in Dubai on Monday, Musk commented that some kind of high bandwidth interface to the brain will be something that helps us achieve symbiosis between human and machine intelligence. The statement came during a question and answer section in which Musk had already articulated that there will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot can't do better. His argument is essentially that because computers, well, compute much faster than our sluggish cerebrums, we'll need to somehow supercharge our brains to stay relevant in an age of artificial intelligence. It's a pretty ambitious solution. Let's be clear here, what Musk is proposing may be far-fetched, but it's a response to a very real problem that's going to affect a lot of people in the near future. Jobs that involve predictable manual labor are in danger of becoming obsolete. McKinsey and Company estimates that about 78% of those types of jobs, along with 69% of data processing and 64% of data collecting jobs, could become completely automated. Driving-related jobs are likely to become increasingly automated as self-driving technology improves, and given that those were the most common jobs in 29 states as of 2014, you see the problem. Well, there you have it. A warm Valentine's Day greeting from Elon Musk, and that is Kickstart My Smart. Now we're going to move on over to a segment I like to call Weird Science. Today on Weird Science, whale mines. What are whale mines? You might wonder. Well, let me tell you. Members of the New Zealand DOC, that's the Department of Conservation, and other authorities spent last Monday in protective clothing cutting holes in 300 whale carcasses in Golden Bay, popping the dead animals like balloons to prevent them from exploding. Yes, exploding as they decomposed. The explosion is caused by a normal buildup of gases that takes place during the decomposition process. Workers use knives as well as needles 6 feet in length to relieve the pressure inside the carcasses. More than 600 whales became stranded last weekend, and while the precise cause of the whale strandings is not known, scientists speculate the muddy waters in Golden Bay confused the whales' sonar, leaving them vulnerable and disoriented during the ebb tide. Rescuers did manage to save around 400 of the pilot whales on South Island Beach, but despite that great effort, hundreds of whales did die. The DOC cordoned off the bodies and urged the public to call them if they found any more whale carcasses. The explosions, while not described as deadly or posing any threat of property damage, are still quite startling and unsanitary. In a statement released by the DOC this weekend, they said this: "The area is currently closed to the public because of the risk from whales exploding. It will take several months for the bodies to decompose and turn into skeletons." The surviving whales were last seen swimming 4 miles offshore on Sunday evening. Pilot whales are not listed as endangered, but little is known about their population in New Zealand waters. The incident is one of New Zealand's largest whale strandings to ever take place. So there you have it. If you happen to be on vacation swimming in Golden Bay, New Zealand, watch out for whale mines. Can be quite interesting, I imagine. Okay. Next up is a segment I like to call Rock and Soul. Rock and Soul is a segment in which I feature artists of all kinds that I think you should know about that you might not know about. This week on Rock and Soul we have Ancient Elephant. I like to promote fellow artists and personalities when I can, so I see no reason why this podcast should be any exception. And today's artist happens to be friends of mine. I chose these guys for my first show because I find them to be very original. Now, being original is not necessarily difficult to achieve, but to own it, to make it real, sell it with conviction, that's another thing. These guys are authentic and honest in their blending of rock, hip-hop, and reggae into their own sound. The band itself does well in capturing an allure, giving the songs their own context and vibe. They have that sort of jam band vibe that's easy to get sucked into. And what really makes these guys the total package is when you add the vocals into the mix. This is where an already great band gets even better. Sporting a wicked cool raspy tone, you get soaked in catchy melody lines and serious hip-hop swagger. You won't even be sure what you're listening to at first. I like artists like this because they're an avenue to enjoying other styles of music I might not be inclined to listen to otherwise. I mean, I'm not a big fan of most hip-hop music, I'll admit. But when I get wrapped in a familiar format like reggae or rock, it opens up my mind to other things. So, here you go. This is Ancient Elephant with their song, Get Up On Me. Listen up.
I've got what you need. You need something real good in your life. Senorita, that's me. Now I've been looking for lust, and you're where it's safe. Now I'ma give you some of this. Now I'ma give you some of that. Hey, when you call me baby, yeah, make me go a bit crazy. I know that lately that you've been falling in love. You come to all of my shows. Keep this man on his toes. You got my back plus so much more. You fell in love with my drug. Hey, you're so fine, so fine. You're so fine, so damn fine. Get up on me, yeah. Get up on me, yeah, yeah. So fine, so fine. You're so fine, so damn fine. Get up on me, yeah. Get up on me, yeah. Now if you're ready to roll, I'll be ready to ride. I got Patron at the home and my truck's outside. Got the stuff that you love, keep you up all night. Cause when the wolf gear up, better hold on tight. The smoke up ahead don't need concern. And there's more than incense in here that's burning. You on top of me is what I want for certain. So grind on me, mommy, while the record's turning. People stare cause you're so attractive. But stare too long, you gon' get your ass kicked. See, she's my mama and she got her man with her. Me and her make the perfect sandwich. So up on me, yeah, that ass is backing. So don't mind me if that ass is smacking. Watch my money while I keep on stacking. But you want me, honey, baby, that's what's happening. Cause it's so fine, so fine. It's so fine, so damn fine. Get up on me, yeah. Get up on me, yeah, yeah. So fine, so fine. It's so fine, so damn fine. Get up on me, yeah. Get up on me, yeah, yeah.
That is what I'm talking about right there. It's the real deal. That was Ancient Elephant and their song, Get Up On Me. Check them out on Facebook at Ancient Elephant, Reverb Nation at Ancient Elephant. They're on Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can find music. Look them up. They come by your area, go see these guys live. You won't regret it. Buy their music, support these guys, support all artists, support music, support local artists. Do it. It is a good thing, and we need to help play our part in keeping art alive and healthy for our children and our children's children to enjoy for years to come. Okay. Next up, we got a segment called Sixth Sense. Today on Sixth Sense, deja vu. Most people have experienced it at one point or another. Deja vu. The haunting sense that you've experienced something before. While deja vu is something the majority of us has or will experience, almost nothing is known about it for certain. The fact that something as common and ubiquitous as deja vu could remain a mystery in this modern age is what earns it this episode's topic of choice. French for already seen. Deja vu has been under investigation for years by scientists who have yet to offer a complete explanation for the phenomenon, though it is reportedly experienced by more than 70% of people at some point in life. Recent research, however, has yielded some clues into what causes deja vu. It seems to occur equally among men and women and across all races, according to a 2003 study from the Journal of Nervous and Mental Disease. But deja vu happens more often in people ages 15 to 25. That fact has led some experts to believe deja vu may be linked to neurotransmitters like dopamine, which are found in higher levels in teenagers and young adults. Another insight into the causes of deja vu comes from studies of epilepsy. There is a strong and consistent link between deja vu and the seizures that occur in people with medial temporal lobe epilepsy, a type of epilepsy that affects the brain's hippocampus. The hippocampus plays a key role in managing short and long-term memories. People with medial temporal lobe epilepsy consistently experience deja vu at the onset of their seizures. This phenomenon has led some experts to propose that deja vu, like an epileptic seizure, may be the result of neural misfiring, during which neurons in the brain transmit signals at random and cause healthy people to experience a false sense of remembered familiarity. Because deja vu is such a fleeting event, most occurrences last no longer than a matter of seconds, which makes it frustratingly difficult to study. Deja vu may be related to some other phenomena that are equally challenging for scientists to explain. There's jamais vu, or never seen, occurs when a person experiences something familiar, like their own living room, but feels that they've never been there before. And déjà entendu, or already heard, occurs when someone is certain they've heard something before, like a snippet of conversation or musical phrase, but cannot recall the precise time or place. So, there you have it, deja vu, the garden variety, run-of-the-mill, unexplained phenomenon. Well, that is going to wrap it up for the premiere, very first episode of Talk It Off. I have been your host, Del Preston. I certainly do hope you enjoyed what you've heard. Much time and effort was put into this podcast, and imagine my disappointment when I realized it was just under 20 minutes long after 3 days of work. Nevertheless, I hope to return to you with a much longer, more informative, and possibly well put together podcast. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Because you